Hi there everyone, it's Melanie from jarofthread.com and I'm back with another Color Friday video. Um, for this week I'm actually showing you what I'm going to use, and also this drawing I've done a few months ago and I just left it because I didn't like the girl so much. But I thought rather than discarding this drawing, I would give it a try today with my Inktense pencil. It's a drawing on watercolor paper, so Inktense pencil will work perfectly for that. And I'm using masking tape, low-tack masking tape, to hold my drawing onto my cutting mat. And I'm showing you what I'm going to listen to today. I really like Miss Phrynis Fisher's Murder Mystery. It's really fun. Anyway, I've taped down my drawing so that it doesn't bubble and buckle too much when I'm going to add water. And you can see I had a little disaster with my sharpener, but it's all sorted now after coaxing it into working. And I've decided to use a few different colors today. And the first color I'm using is, I think it was poppy red. And then you just saw me draw some ears, because I forgot to draw the ears on these girls. It's definitely not the best drawing I've done. I like it much better now that it's colored, but yeah, it's good to finally get her done. She turned out nice at the end, so you'll see. So now you can see me adding water, and the thing with Inktense is that you really want to go several times over with your water brush or paintbrush to make sure that all the ink is activated with the water, because if you just do it once and then you add another completely different color, you will reactivate, or you will activate the ink that you didn't do in your first pass, and you will have some weird mixes. It's good if you want to mix colors, but not so good when you want to layer colors. So that's why I'm going to go several times over the whole thing, as you can see. What I like about sorry, I'm struggling talking today. What I like about Inktense pencils is that they're really vibrant. And now I'm going directly with my pencil on the wet paper. And activating that as well. It does tend to be harder to move this way. You tend to have more pencil marks that don't really want to move. But I find that for the hair it wasn't really bothering me, because it helped with giving it a sense of strength and hair. And I'm taking ink directly from the pencils, and you can do that too. Now I'm going to choose to leave the hair and move on to something else. I'm moving on to the top, and for that I'm pretty sure I used sea blue, which is a pretty vibrant blue. And at this point I thought it looked very much like colors from the French flag, and I was a bit nonplussed about it. But with all the other colors added and the skin tone and all of that, it doesn't scream French so much to me. Maybe I should stop seeing French flags and French colors everywhere, but it's really difficult when you grew up with it. I guess, someone who would see American flag colors or Union Jack colors everywhere as well, if you were from those countries. Now I'm doing her eyes, and my first layer in the eyes I've used iris blue, which is a light pink or lighter pink. It's very similar to cerulean blue if you're doing watercolors. That's something you might be familiar with. And then I'm moving on to watercolors, because for the skin tone, sorry, I find that there aren't um, the choice of Inktense is not very good. So I'm going to use my Koi watercolors. It's a sketch filled box. I really like those watercolors. They're very handy. It's not my best watercolors, but for this project it was fine. And they've got a skin tone, and I was very lazy and didn't want to mix the skin tone today, so I used this from the pan. But I'm going to add some shading and different a different color for the shading, and it dries much lighter than when you first paint it. So while it feels very orangey and peachy, when you first put it down, it's not so orange once it's dried. And here I'm adding some brown that I've mixed on the side by mixing pink and green. You get a brown that's quite nice for skin tone. And I'm doing the face with the same skin tone. I'm just taking it from my palette rather than from the pan, so I can water it down a little bit. And I'm adding my brown. I'm adding some pink for some blushes. And when it's wet, watercolors move, so it's really nice for pink cheeks. It works nicely. And I'm adding more brown to make it a bit darker, because it's going to dry lighter, so you really want to be more adventurous with your colors and your darker colors with watercolor. And I'm going to let that dry. No, first I'm going to do the lips, and for the lips I think I used cherry. Pretty sure I used cherry for the lips, which is a darker shade of grey compared to the poppy red I used on the hair. It's looking a bit pinker as well, I guess. And I'm going to use some of that in her hair at some point, like now, to darken the hair a little bit. I'm really sorry I'm not speaking very well today, but I'm quite tired. My son, my 8-month-old baby, has got a cold, so he wasn't very sleeping well last night, and is sleeping right now, so I'm trying to be a bit quiet, if you can hear me now. So yeah, he's sleeping in the room next to me, so I'm trying to be not too loud so I can have a good sleep and I can have a bit of peace and quiet. And now I'm adding some a shade of purple. I think it's mauve, which is a nice dark purple, to add more shading, and it's a bit colder color as well, so it helps with giving this impression of depth and shade and shadows, I think. You tell me if you agree or disagree. So the girl is pretty much done. I'm going to do a necklace, and I think for the necklace I used spring green for the necklace part, and I used some field green for the heart pendant. And I think I used a little bit of a darker shade of green. I can't remember the name right now. To some shadows. It's a different kind of green. And I'm using my Staedtler pigment liner to draw in the pupils, yeah, and eyebrows, or eyelashes, I should say, more than eyebrows. And I'm adding a little bit of dark neutral grey to do some shading in the eyes. It's very subtle, but it helps bringing the eyes to life. And later on I will add a few dots of white. And now I'm grabbing my circle template, and I'm going to draw some circles in the background, and that's where the bubble girl title come from, because I thought in the end it looks like bubblegums, balls, things, candy, lollies. I haven't had any of those in years, but I remind them to be quite colorful like that. I thought I'm more or less using the shades I've used in the project, in the girl already, to bring the whole project together. And yeah, I'm leaving the center white so that when I activate the color, they're actually lighter than the outside, so that it gives us a sense of roundness, I guess. They don't look so flat. And I'm keeping the template in place to help me see where the bottom of the circle would be, so I can know where to put my color. Oh, disappeared. And I was trying to decide what color I wanted to use, and I think this one is sea blue, or is it iris blue? I can't really tell from there, and I don't really remember. The differences between those blues are very how can I say? There's not much difference between those blue. I need to get some colors that are a bit more contrasting and to give me a better range of colors. So that's definitely poppy red, I think. Definitely, and I think that doesn't really work together, does it? That's spring green. That I know. That's my lightest green, so I know that this one is spring green. Or is it apple green? I don't have them with me, so I can't check. I will check once I finished editing this video, and when I start working on my blog post to go with this video. You will find all the products I've used for this project on my blog, so please check that. And you can also check all my other Color Friday videos. They're all in a playlist now, so you can have a look at all of them. And yeah, here I had a bit of a red coming, so I needed a color that was dark enough to hide it, and it worked just. I think I lifted it with my template and didn't realize that I had put it down again before it was dried. And this one is field green, and I'm just about done with the circles. I'm going in the diagonal behind her, behind the girl. I think I've got another one after this one. Oh. Sometimes I disappear when I need to grab the boy. He was playing under my chair at this point, so that was a bit distracting. The whole painting took me just over an hour, which is quite good. And that was being distracted and stopping and letting things dry as well. I didn't use my heat gun at all. I just stopped here and there to let the thing dry and do something else, like playing with the baby. And that's the last circle. And for the next step, I wasn't quite sure. I knew I didn't. Oh yeah, I'm doing some makeup with the mauve, just to give it a little bit of, you know, a bit more details. I think I might add to the lips as well. No, I'm going in the background. So yeah, I wasn't sure what to do with the background. I knew I didn't want to leave it white, and I didn't really want to bring in another color, but I didn't want to use a color I'd used already. So so in the end, I decided to go for yellow, and it worked very nicely. So I'm doing a gradient. So I'm just putting a little bit of color around the bubbles and and the girl, and then as you can see, I'm activating the color and just pushing it into the white, and it's creating this nice uh, gradient look, ombre look, I think you would say too. Is that what you would say? Maybe. And in my second pass, I will make sure that I move the color with more water. And I really like that. It's looking pretty nice. Making sure all the color is activated. And yeah, I'm adding a little bit of red to the lips. You can see my head doing that. And now the white to give it some light, and it saved the whole painting on the lips as well. And yeah, more red, because I wasn't really happy with the lips and how they looked. And that's pretty much done. I'm going to sign, and then I'm going to remove the tape carefully so that it doesn't tear up my paper. And I'm going to show you how it looks. Thanks for watching. Have a nice weekend, and I'll see you next week. Bye bye.